Am I the asshole for calling a pregnant woman an incubator and refusing to talk to her? I, 23NB, visited my family this summer. My family and I are all vaccinated, so my parents wanted to hold a small 4th of July gathering. Unfortunately, a couple who are openly homophobic, transphobic, and sexist was also invited. I came out to my parents as non-binary and bisexual last summer, but they don't really understand LGBTQ identities due to language barriers. However, I was hoping that coming out to them would encourage them to cut ties from this couple. Lo and behold, the two showed up at the 4th of July gathering. The woman proceeded to ask non-stop about when I will be getting a boyfriend so that my parents can have grandchildren. She firmly bases her whole identity around being a mother. She has 3 kids, currently pregnant with another, and kept talking about how if I wait too long, I will lose the chance to be a mother. She also implied that women's main, sole purpose is to birth and raise the next generation and that women who work are selfish people. I became frustrated and blurted out, "Good thing I'm not a woman, and that I don't ever want kids." She froze for a second and kind of looked me up and down, trying to see if I was obviously transitioning, and then left. I was left alone for a couple of minutes until the couple all came to confront me. I reiterated that I was non-binary, and that they should stop asking me about children. Then the woman tried to argue with me, but at this point I was extremely fed up, so I turned to her husband and asked him, "Why is your baby incubator still trying to talk to me? Doesn't it have anything else to be doing?" Everyone heard me say that, including my parents, who hurried over to see what was going on. I told them what had happened and that I was tired of being bothered by their friends. Then I left because I knew my parents would side with them. After that, the party fizzled out. My parents tried to apologize on my behalf, I think, but the couple left almost immediately and everyone else just trickled out afterwards because it was so awkward. Previously, the woman has talked about how women should remain silent when there are men talking, so my reasoning is that I was simply using her own beliefs against her. My mother thinks that I was an asshole for coming out during a party, instead of keeping the peace when I know they are LGBTQ phobic, b. calling the woman an incubator, c. stressing a pregnant woman out, and d. causing her to lose a friend. My sister thinks that the incubator comment was hilarious but thinks I'm an asshole for calling the woman an it. I don't want to misgender people, but it was the best way to get my point across to someone who thinks women are property. After a couple days of fierce arguments in my parents' house, I returned home, but my parents keep blowing up my phone to get me to apologize to their friends. I do think she deserved it, and it was the best way to get them to stop talking to me. I don't want to apologize. Am I the asshole? Edit. Although I appreciate the support of everyone who said I was not the asshole, after some reflection and reading through this thread, I have decided to apologize to my parents for the blow-up but not apologize to the couple. I accept that I was an asshole, justified, though. I recognize how my comments could have caused others to feel bad about pregnancy, family without context, and that there was probably a better way to handle the situation. I was already dealing with other issues at the time, and it just exploded out of me, not an excuse but an explanation. Taking the high road was the last thing on my mind after dealing with similar incidents politely in the past. For clarification on this post, I am not upset about being misgendered at all. I use all pronouns, and would not expect anyone unused to interacting with LGBTQ people to immediately understand when having this sprung on them, but rather about the pushiness of the couple and their insistence on gender roles being fulfilled. I also have the utmost respect for those who choose to have and raise children. I have absolutely nothing against those who do, and think it's very admirable. I simply do not appreciate being told that nothing about me and other AFAB people, except the organs we are born with, matters. The coming out was a reflexive attempt to shock her into not talking to me anymore in a manner that simply walking away wouldn't. The incubator comment is not something I truly believe in, but again, an attempt to shock them into leaving me alone by turning their rhetoric and beliefs into an insult. Definitely could have worded it better if I had wanted to have a productive conversation, but these people cannot be reasoned with, otherwise they would have just left me alone originally. At any rate, I am thinking of going low contact with my family at the moment because this was the last straw in a long string of arguments we've had about my identity and staying in the closet. It's a good thing I moved out a long time ago. Thank you all for commenting on this thread. Wishing those of you currently pregnant safe and healthy children, and to my fellow LGBTQs, stay safe. Y'all homophobes and transphobes can fuck off though. Everyone sucks here. Don't try to justify calling her it You know what you were doing when you said that. The couple may have been assholes, but that doesn't negate calling her an incubator as extremely rude and offensive. You can call someone out for being offensive without being offensive back. Calling a woman an incubator emboldens other sexist jerks to think it's okay to talk like that. It also forces other women, who aren't assholes, to hear another woman reduced to an incubator. It's never okay to be sexist, racist, or any east as a way to get back at someone for insulting you. Being an asshole to an asshole doesn't make you less of an asshole. You weren't being held hostage. You could have 1. Avoided them in the first place. 2. Walked away when she started asking about kids and boyfriends. You are the asshole isn't calling a woman an incubator very misogynist? Especially in the matter you did it? Turn to the husband to say it. You can't call a pregnant woman an incubator and not be an aw. This illustrated why people don't have to be friends with their parents' friends or socialize with the people their parents socialize with. These people and you, are not on the same page and most likely never will be. And pretty much everyone in the story said something rude. You don't fight anti-LGBTQ+ assholes with misogynistic comments like calling a woman an incubator. If I was at that party and heard you say that out of context, I'd feel real shitty and real offended. Am I the asshole for telling my dad if he doesn't follow my wishes, he isn't coming to my wedding? Sorry if the formatting is weird. I've never posted on Reddit before. And #X200B. For a little bit of backstory, my significant other, 20SM, and I, 20SF, have been together about a year and a half now but have known each other for 8 years. Due to this, we got engaged a few months ago and are planning a wedding for January 2023. Which gives us time to save money, more people to get vaccinated, etc. And #X200B. I have a complicated relationship with just about everybody in my family immediate due to the fact that I'm non-traditional, not Christian, and I generally keep my life private. For example, I got into a bad car accident about 3 years ago and my family just found out about it a few months ago. My family knew my significant other but it was a huge shock when we told them we were engaged last month. And #X200B. I specifically have problems with my dad's youngest sister, a 50s F. She is a raging alcoholic and I made the decision in my late teens that unless absolutely necessary, I would not speak to her. This caused a bunch of drama including her spreading rumors to our family about me over the years including I was a drug addict. The pill she saw me popping was an antidepressant. That I'm gay. I'm actually bi but was not out at the time. And that I stole from my grandmother. My grandmother gifted significant other and I with wedding bands from her parents after we told the family we were engaged. Due to this, significant other and I decided that we wouldn't invite her to the wedding. And #X200B. We told both of our parents this decision. FFIL, and my mom were very supportive of this decision due to the past drama. My dad, however, didn't like this. I understand it's absolutely shitty to not invite A to the wedding and I am the asshole for that. But A was arrested for drunk and disorderly conduct and damaging property at my cousin's wedding 2 years ago. Both significant other and I don't want that to happen at our wedding. We also acknowledge that if she were to change, or promise not to drink during the wedding, she can come. The wedding is a year and a half away. And #X200B. This part is where I'm asking if I'm the asshole. My dad said he'd just sneak her into the back of the ceremony since it's not like I'm going to be paying attention to who's at my wedding. Stunned silence from everybody. Right now, we've planned a wedding with 50 people in attendance, not including our bridal party. We're going to notice. So I told my dad that if he snuck in or even mentioned it again FFIL can walk me down the aisle and he would not attend my wedding. And #X200B. Significant other stands by my decision but is telling me not to do anything I might regret later on. Mom is telling me I overreacted and Dad was just joking. I have not spoken to Dad since that lunch, though he has reached out and told me I'm overreacting and he was just kidding. And #X200B. So Reddit, am I the asshole for this? If you have questions, let me know. Update-ish. Some people are confused as to why I think I'm the asshole for not inviting her in the first place. I live in the South and grew up in a very Southern household. Respect your elders, don't complain, don't mix the pot, etc. So the fact that I even brought it up, even with her past, to my outside family, I am an asshole. I talked to my grandmother, A's mother, about an hour ago and told her flat out and my grandmother said she supported our choice. This coming Saturday my dad is coming over to the house to help paint our dining room and I'm going to talk to him about it then. We'll see what happens. Not the asshole. And #X200B. And to be honest, you aren't the asshole for not wanting your aunt there either. She has ruined other weddings before, so it's not like it's overreacting to think it can happen at yours too. It is your wedding. I would have been annoyed with your dad's comment too. I think you're totally fine. If he doesn't bring it up again then it's whatever, but he knows your stance, so unless it's to say, she's been sober for X months, can you reconsider, then he just needs to stay quiet on it. Not the asshole, he's just kidding, because no one agreed with his idea to bypass your wishes. Honestly, the fact that she destroyed property at a cousin's wedding should have been the first and only evidence presented to support your decision. Although, as it's your wedding, you have the right to not invite anyone you choose regardless of evidence. Employ security for the day. They can stop anybody coming in without an invitation. For the reception, too. Not the asshole. You are wrong, my friend. You are definitely not the asshole for not inviting a person who actively tried to sabotage your relationship with the rest of your family to your wedding. Also not the asshole for telling your dad in no uncertain terms that sabotaging your wedding by bringing this person would be grounds for his own dismissal and that you don't want to hear about it again. If your mom or anyone else tries to say you're overreacting because your dad was joking, you can just say, great. If he's joking, then he now knows he not to make that joke again, and he can attend my lovely, peaceful wedding. You are absolutely right to set your boundary and hold your ground. Not the asshole, not the asshole, not the asshole. Absolutely not the asshole. It's perfectly reasonable to not want a raging alcoholic under the influence at your wedding. Besides, you have her plenty of time. If she changes she can come. That's more than I would ever do. Not the asshole. You're never the asshole for not adding people to your guest list. This is your wedding and your guest list. If you don't want certain people to come, you don't invite them. End of story. You're not the asshole for not inviting your aunt. And you are definitely not the asshole for setting a very clear boundary for your dad. He can choose you for one day, or he can choose his drunk sister. The choice is very clear. He wasn't joking, he was joking. He was saying it to see what he could get away with. If you had laughed it off, he would have shown up with your aunt and you would have had the difficult task of kicking her out of your wedding. Now he knows you're not playing games. It's good you went in hard with a firm boundary. Not the asshole. If your dad was just joking, then he doesn't need to worry because he won't break the rule. Not the asshole. And don't bother giving her a conditional invite. You don't want to have to worry about policing someone at your own wedding. Just cut her out. Am I the asshole for literally ignoring my mother when she popped by unannounced? My wife, 30 female, and I, 32 female. We're both women, are new parents to a baby girl. This is pretty big since just a few months ago we had our hearts broken. If anyone remembers my last post before it was taken down, we didn't pursue it further because it was just too much. Saying as we never thought that we'd have a baby so quickly, though we are 150% over the moon. We've also had a lot to learn as new parents. My wife's parents are perfect and amazing, they always help out even if they only pop by for an hour. My mom, on the other hand, has a lot to say and butts in constantly. Pouts when we ask for the baby back. Talks like the baby, mommy wants to take you away from grandma, but I won't let her. Princess demands that grandma changes her into a pretty outfit, mommy put me in a boring one. I have no more patience for my mom steamrolling, especially since she's barely acknowledged my nephews since the baby came home. She even objects to her name and insists that we change it or call her by a nickname she deems acceptable. My mom's behavior is nothing new to me, so I told her several times not to drop in without calling. If she's 5 minutes away or 30 it doesn't matter. I don't want guests dropping in to sit in my messy living room to play with the baby while ignoring my wife and I. That doesn't fly with me. On Sunday we were going to my IL's house for brunch and time to relax. I told my mom 3 times when we spoke on the phone during the week that we weren't taking visitors this weekend and had plans. Wife and I were getting ready to leave. She was with the baby when I brought the diaper bag and stuff to the car. Who pulled up when my wife came out? My mom. I was already frustrated, so I went right up to my wife, told her to pretend that she's not here and don't even look at her. Mom starts talking at me. Where are we going and why? How long we'll be? And I walk past her. Wife put the baby in the car seat. My mom said she was doing it wrong. As soon as my wife is in the car I look at my mom and ask why she didn't call. Mom insists she doesn't have to call when she was already down the street. I told her that's not how this works. My daughter is not a show pony and I am sick of her acting like she knows best while disrespecting my wife and I until she actually calls before she visits. We will not entertain her anymore. When we returned home, my mom was waiting in her car for us. I had a feeling that she'd do something like that. Wifey and I had agreed to just ignore her and walk right past her when she tried to follow us. It was a little rude of me but I shut the door in her face. She called my cell over and over again waiting to be let inside but I just let it ring. Needless to say I have been flooded with messages from relatives saying that I acted childish and cruel. How dare I keep my daughter away from her grandmother? The only people on our side are my sister and in-laws. So tell me, am I an asshole for ignoring my mom the way I did? Edit. Thanks for all the feedback so far. Post has only been up for an hour and I feel vindicated. Wifey and I already decided to put my mom and several other relatives on timeout. Especially since a lot of them showed no interest in our lives till we had a baby. Tells us all we need to know about their priorities. Once my mother is in a calmer headspace I am laying down the law with her. I want to be fair but I have to be firmer with her too. Not the asshole. Fuck yeah dude. I'm proud of you for sticking up to her and standing your ground. Nothing comes before your wife and child, and you made sure that is abundantly clear. Grandmother or not, she sounds like an absolute nightmare to deal with. Just because you're related doesn't give her the right to act like that. Not the asshole. 1. She's not respecting your boundaries. 2. Your examples of her baby talk are freaking weird. I'm all for having good relationships with family members, but there is only so much you can take. Not the asshole. I think you did a great job and are protecting your family and wife. You didn't yell, scream, or blow up. Brilliant, really. You enforced your boundary and depending on mom's stubbornness she will get the message or not. The fact that other family members don't support your action shows and maybe explains a bit that your extended family does not understand boundaries or how to be respectful. So if everyone in your world thinks this is okay, you have to expect an uphill battle. In my opinion, it's worth the fight. You will probably be told, she only wanted to help, etc. But some parents are not willing to see their behavior as totally disrespectful to their adult children. Well done. Not the asshole. You established a boundary with your mom, she violated the boundary, you held firm and enforced the boundary. You were absolutely correct. Not the asshole. Tell her next time she pulls a stunt like that you'll respond the same way. Edit to add. She was asking questions you had already told her the answers to, so you didn't even start this. She completely ignored you and is now surprised that you responded in kind. Not the asshole. You are an amazing partner for standing up for your spouse. I'm a mom to a 3-month sweet baby girl, and I detest people who tell me how to parent, and I really, really detest people who speak for my baby. That is hella annoying. I would keep doing the same thing till your mom gets it, as in, she doesn't get baby time unless she respects your boundaries. Good luck, being a new parent is a crazy ride. Not the asshole. Your mom is already negging your wife to your baby. Mom put me in a boring dress. That comment itself is rude, but not horrible. However, this behavior never stops and is likely to get worse and worse the more you hold boundaries with her. Your mom is on a determined path to alienate your daughter from her mom. This seems like a small thing, but it's actually the most dangerous part of your post. Consider no contact. Mommy wants to take you away from grandma, but I won't let her. This is the part that freaks me out. Such weird possessiveness toward your daughter and weird hostility toward you, your wife. Not sure if it's one or the other or both. That and her waiting in her car for you the whole time you were gone. This is a woman who does not give a single deep-fried shit about anything but her own gratification. Please be very, very cautious around her going forward, Op. I have a bad feeling she's the type who'll take laying down the law as a challenge to her authority. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole? My daughter's memorial items do not live at her GFS house. Context: my ex-husband and I share an angel, past daughter. While we were together me collected some beautiful memorial items, teddies, candles, photos and such, for her to sit on some display shelves, and when he and I parted ways we divided all her things between us so we could both have a part of her with us. On to the story. My ex and I have been apart over 2 years now and have maintained a relatively good friendship, far be it a very shitty end to our relationship. But that's another story. Right up until 2 days ago, my ex is, sort of, seeing a woman, and when I say sort of I mean he sees her as his girlfriend, but she says not, as her ex is still hanging around. On a side note, she works WKNs as a pro-C. They have been doing their thing for almost a year now and I'm fine with it all. I've moved on and October this year makes 2 years with my partner. As I was saying, everything was good until 2 days ago. I was on vid chat with my ex, just having a happy normal chat like we would normally do, and he tells me he needs to show and tell me something. This asshole goes on to show me a photo of my daughter's stuff hanging on a wall at his GFS house alongside a framed birth certificate of her living daughter and a sonogram of a child she has, apparently, lost. Well, I lost my shit at him and blew up about why the F something of our daughters was at his GFS house, and his reply and reasoning is he wanted her to feel part of his family, and if my partner can be around her stuff, why can't he take stuff of hers to his GF? The thing is though, the reason my partner is around my daughter's stuff is because he moved in with me, meanwhile his girlfriend lives over an hour away from him. I blasted him some more saying that he needs to get it back, and not once had I ever taken anything of our daughters to my partner's house because it's not right. He yelled some more saying her stuff he has, he can do whatever he likes with it, and if he wants to take more over he will. I then hung up on him crying. So Reddit.am I the asshole for blowing up over this and wanting to drive the 18 hours to his house to save all my daughter's thing and bring them home with me so he has nothing? Edit I would like to clear up a few things. My ex has only been to her house roughly 5 times over the last almost year. Also, he's only allowed there when no one but her is home, as her ex still lives with her and she does not want him or her child knowing about my ex. He's also only there maybe an hour at most and then he has to leave. He was once there almost overnight. They fell asleep. She then proceeded to kick him out at 2 a.m. because heaven forbid anyone found him there. I would also like to add, up till this issue my ex and I got really well and has been no hard feelings between us. Another this is we are still actually married, so me taking those things, if I took them, would not be theft. Second edit thank you everyone for all you thoughts and opinions. Yes, I may be a lil over the top on this and may come off as an asshole I guess. I am just very overprotective of my daughter's things. I never wanted to part from them. He and I ended things. I did that so he could have her too, and no, I am not wanting to get back with him at all, and I'm mostly happy for him with his girlfriend. It mostly comes down to she is my only child and feel a little lost on the thought of someone else having a part of her, and yes, I know that is selfish of me, but there it is. Gentle you are the asshole. It's a really rough thing to go through and it's understandable that your emotions are still raw, but you both agreed to split her items. The things that he took are his. No one has the right to tell another person how to handle their grief. It might be a good idea to take a break from talking to him for a while. You are the asshole. These memorial items are important to both of you, but they are not your daughter. They are things, and these things belong to your ex to do with as he wishes. He clearly values his relationship with his current partner and sees it differently than you do. He feels they are family and is combining his life with her, which will include the memories of his deceased daughter. I'm sorry for your loss and the grief you are still dealing with, but you do not get to make decisions like this for your ex. You have your own items from your daughter, and those are the only ones you get to control. I'm sorry, but yes, you're kinda tall. Most importantly, I am so sorry for your loss. Unfortunately, you don't get to decide how he grieves and what he with his new GF. I know that losing your daughter's things would be devastating, but he seems to think this won't be the case. P.S. Telling all of Reddit that his girlfriend is a weekend SW makes it seem like you might be a little bitter and not as over it as you say. You are the asshole. First, I am very sorry for your loss. No parent should ever outlive their children. However, when you split up, you divided those items up between you. His became his, yours became yours. Just as you are free to do what you want with your as you wish, so is he. You don't have to like it. Everyone grieves and remembers in their own way. This way must bring him some comfort. Let him have it. You are the asshole. You're making things worse. Firstly, I want to say, I am significant other sorry for your loss. That is a horrible situation to be in. The second thing is though, if those items you and him had split, he does have a point that he can do with them what he wants, and if he is seriously dating the new GF, he can hang them on her wall if he wants to. You really can't just dictate what he does with the items even if you don't like it, and you can't just show up and demand them back. You are the asshole for saying he can't display them there. You are the asshole. It's his property and you have absolutely no right to it. I don't care how upset it makes you, leave him alone op. I'm not sure what his motivations for showing you were. It was clearly a stupid thing to do. You are the asshole. You're saying, his girlfriend's house, but it seems he's seeing it as his home, hence while he would like to have things around to remember your daughter.